Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We are finally, after months and months of waiting it out, we are finally out from under our copyright strikes on this channel. Hallelujah, praise the Lord, I feel like doing a dance. So what happened was, and I've mentioned it several times on this channel, but what happened was back when we first started this channel, I had no clue what we were doing. I didn't really know how to do YouTube. Just started making some videos for fun, you know, and it just didn't know what I was doing. That's just all there is to it. And so I posted some videos with some other people's stuff in it. By other people, I mean supercars and NASCAR. And apparently, you know, I didn't check what I was supposed to on the videos. I didn't, yeah, whatever happened. But lesson learned. That is done and over with. So we've been riding it out for a few weeks. So, you know, when you're under a copyright strike, your reach is very limited in scope. Basically, it's non-existent. So our channel, we've been kind of dragging along, riding this out. And so finally we're there. Not going to make that mistake again. Now we can rock and roll, baby. We can rock and roll. I'm stoked. So if you like listening to me talk about cars, racing, anything else I feel like talking about, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications. If you're interested in diecast cars, t-shirts, hats, auto parts, anything like that, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. Follow me on Facebook and X. Those links are also in the description. I talk about racing on both of those daily. Post all kinds of cool stuff, so check it out. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So the numbers are in once again for NASCAR and for this past weekend at Gateway, and it's not good. I mean, it's just not good. There's no way you can't slice it any other kind of way. You can't frame it any way other than it's just not good. They were at I think 1.5 million viewers, and you know, this is 2 weeks in a row. Darlington wasn't any better. If it wasn't by much. It was less than 2 million. Which is not good because it's Darlington. It's the Southern 500. That's one of the biggest races of the season, and it was a playoff opener. This week was a playoff race, and you would think if you just based your opinion on what NASCAR Brass constantly tells us, is that during the playoffs the numbers are expected to be better because the playoffs it drums up interest. It makes people want to watch it. Okay, but there's a disconnect here somewhere because if that were the case, 1.5 million people, I mean, there would be a lot more than that watching it. You know, for context, I think there's about that many people in Birmingham, give or take. You know, certainly you take Birmingham and Mobile, put them together, there's that many people. That's not a lot of people, is what I'm trying to say, in context of the United States. All right, 1.5 million is pretty bad. I think they keep getting beat out by golf. But the fun part, my absolute favorite part, a couple of weeks ago, I got in a big argument with a guy who was, we were talking about the numbers. And I told him that Formula One, if they keep trending the way that they're going and they don't make a massive blunder, okay, their viewership numbers are going to surpass that of NASCAR in the United States. And this guy told me I was crazy and like, nah, man, there's no way that's going to happen. You know, people just aren't interested in Formula One. Well, Formula One's numbers for this past weekend, their Grand Prix was at like 9 o'clock in the morning Sunday. And I think they clocked in at like 1.2. NASCAR's at 1.5. So they're right there. They're within striking distance. And that's saying something. 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, it's hard for me to get up that early, okay? Unless the kids are going crazy and acting a fool. So for it to do that well, and then NASCAR is a primetime race, is not good. And of course you have the constant argument from people, well, NASCAR went head-to-head with the NFL. That's another reason why the numbers are so bad. NASCAR's been going head-to-head with the NFL for decades. That's nothing new. So that's not a very good excuse because they've had really good numbers going head-to-head with the NFL before. What's changed? Well, we all know what's changed. I think, you know, as far as the playoffs go, people are collectively getting over it. There's this groundswell movement on social media where people are openly, actively, daily talking about their disdain for the playoff format. You add into that what's going on with the car. The car it's not a good race car, the Cup Series car. It's not good. The Xfinity numbers weren't far off of what Cup Series was. So what we're eventually going to get to is, if nothing changes, the Xfinity Series is going to catch up in viewership because they put on a better show than what the Cup Series does. But, I think it's a combination of those factors. Car is awful. People are over the playoffs. And now there's a rumor on the street that the playoffs are going to be changed next year, but they're not going away. And, we're just going to expand the final round where it's not just one race. Well, that's not what the overwhelming majority of the fans have been asking for. So that's a Band-Aid. That's not an actual fix for the issue. It's a step in the right direction. But the complaints and everything are still going to be there because people are over playoffs in motorsports collectively. Obviously, there's some people that still like it, but I would say the overwhelming majority are over, playoffs. And I think it was, I think Martin had posted something. I got in a conversation with someone on his thread. Every person that I've talked to in person, and I'm in Alabama, granted, in the South, and most people around here, they like NASCAR from 20 years ago, But most people that I've talked to are not fans of the current product. They're not fans of the gimmicks. And you got to think, too, that the Southeast, whether NASCAR wants to admit it or not, that's where the majority of their fans come from. They do have fans everywhere, but that's the majority of them come from the Southeast. And like I said, from what I've seen, what I've communicated with people in person, they've all no one cares for it. You have the one person here and there that does, but for the most part, everyone is over the gimmicks. So I think it's a crossroads moment for NASCAR. Just put it that way. And it's going to be very interesting to see what route they take. And it's going to be really interesting to see what the numbers look like this week. If this trend continues, there has to be a change. I don't care that they've already got the TV contract signed and that they've got all the money and whatever. I guarantee you that there are clauses in that contract for television based on numbers, what have you. I can promise you that there is. If you'll remember back when we got stages, the reason that we got stages is the TV companies had an emergency meeting with Brian France, and out of that meeting, that's where stages came from. So they're not shy about making changes. The problem is that the TV companies clearly don't know anything about racing. And so they're just taking NASCAR and they're trying to milk it for everything that they can get out of it. And it's not a good situation. But you look no further than the current leadership who have allowed themselves to be put in this situation to where they are beholden to the TV companies. And, they took the money and they handed over the keys to the sport, essentially. I said this a couple weeks ago, but that's what happened. That's what they did. And now they find themselves yet again in a position where they're back up against the wall. And I don't know. All I can say is that I hope 2311 and Front Row win their lawsuit, because the sport, the series needs some substantial, significant changes, and it's just not going to happen with the France and Kennedys in charge. It's just not, because they, Jim doesn't care about NASCAR. I mean, he's made that blatantly clear. He does not care. He just got thrust into this position. Didn't want it. Lisa's really the one calling the shots, and she has no idea what she's doing. It's almost like it's like a blown up version of what happened with Dale Earnhardt Incorporated after Dale died, with Teresa running the show. And we all see how that worked out. Not good. It's the same thing. And I hate to see it. When I saw those numbers yesterday, it was a bittersweet thing for me, because I don't want to see that at all. But I also hate what they've done to the sport at the same time. So it's yes, I don't want to see that, but yes, at the same time, I do, because the France and Kennedys deserve it based on what they've done. So we'll see if anything substantial comes out of it. I'm not going to hold my breath, because This is the only series that I can think of. I was talking to my wife about this earlier. This is the only sports series that I can think of where you have this much controversy surrounding how they crown a champion, yet they don't do anything about it. Like, you have your fans overwhelmingly saying, we don't want this, we don't like this. You have the sanctioning body, the governing body, whatever you want to call it, hearing this and saying, yeah, well, if they don't like it, I mean, I guess they can just get over it. It's not a good way to conduct business. It's just not, especially in this arena where you are dependent on the fans. You know, without fans, there's no sport. It's like that with anything, any kind of sport series. Without the fans, there's no sport. So, you know, rather than spitting in their face and giving them the middle finger, it would be wise to actually do what they're asking you to do. I know it's a novel concept, but, you know, these people are just, I don't know. They just act like they're uninterested. Before I let you guys go, keep in mind that Supercars is back this weekend. I think at the Bend. I think it's where they're racing. If you don't have a subscription to their service on YouTube, make sure to do that. Sign up. Watch it. Yes, it's probably going to be a Brock Feeney show because that car is just, for whatever reason, stupid fast, just way faster than everybody else. But if you haven't watched a Supercars race weekend, what have you, it's a festival basically. You know, they have the Supercars, but they have like 3 or 4 support categories that'll run any given weekend with them. So it's a lot of fun. I encourage you to check that out. I'll put the link to it in the description so you can go get signed up. I think it's like, I don't know, $7, $8, $9 a month, something like that. It's nothing crazy, but and it's worth it, in my opinion. It is. So check that out. I want to say this too, that I had made a post about Gran Turismo on X yesterday, about it being the GOAT, the greatest of all time, and I believe that it is. You know, the PS1 version. I believe video games back then in general were way better than what they are now. Yes, graphics look better now. The mechanics are tighter now than what they used to be. But microtransactions have killed modern gaming. I'll say this: if you'll look back prior to, I don't know, if you look back to the 360 and PS3 era and prior, okay, when video games were released, they were released in their final form, okay? They were a complete game. Now, some of them may not have been good, some of them may have been broken, what have you. But regardless, they were done in their final form and released to the public. Now, they release these games where they're broken, you know, they have serious issues, but then they'll release patches and updates and stuff. And then some of the stuff you have to pay for. It's a scam, number one. But number two, like, we've just gotten to this place in society and in our culture where it's like we're used to having things done half you know what. And it's ridiculous. I can't stand it. It's so annoying. I got in an argument a couple weeks ago. I had a full-blown pitchfork mob come after me because I said iRacing is a video game, which it is, okay? And these people telling me, oh, it's a simulation. It's a simulation. Well, a simulation is a subgenre for video games, okay? You have action games, you have RPGs, you have simulations, sims. They're all video games. Whether you like it or not, that's what they are, okay? I don't care what you Google and which way you try to trick AI into getting the result that you want, to try to dunk on me, or it doesn't matter. It is a video game, okay? And you will never convince me otherwise. You know, I think the argument is just silly. It's just absolutely silly. But one of the guys that works for Alpha Prime had posted that he was playing iRacing and he hits the wall and the car shoots like 5 stories into the air and then comes back down. So it was a glitch. But where do you have glitches? You have glitches in video games. But the thing about iRacing is that's a monthly subscription that you have to pay every month. Why are we having glitches like this in a video game that you have to pay for every month? You know what I mean? It's part of that half you know what that I was talking about. Like, why don't we just get our act together and just, especially iRacing, you have teams of guys that are constantly working on this thing, you know, because it's a living, breathing thing. It's running every month, you know, consistently, and you have people paying for it. So it's kind of like playing an MMO RPG, you know, like World of Warcraft. You have a constant team of guys that are working on that, keeping it going. You have to. Why can't we just fix these issues? Because it's not limited to just this one guy that I saw the video from. It's a consistent thing that happens time and time again. So I hate just the laziness that has completely gripped our society. It's super annoying. But yeah, I just wanted to rant about that for a minute. Because it grinds my gears, is what I'm trying to say. It sticks in my craw. Thank you guys for watching. If you find my yapping interesting, you like listening to me ramble about motorsports, cars, or whatever I feel like talking about, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications. The works. If you're interested in diecast cars, t-shirts, hats, auto parts, any of that kind of stuff, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. Follow me on Facebook and X for more motorsports content. I post daily on there, so make sure to check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, God bless. We'll see you. Peace.